Welcome to Lesson R.2, Addition with Whole Numbers and an Introduction to Perimeter. When adding whole numbers, I think the easiest way to do it is to stack the numbers one on top of one another in a vertical addition style. For example, 534 plus 178. And here's the process that you're going to go through, and I'm going to read it through, and then we're going to follow along with the example that's written. The first thing you're going to do is add the ones column. Then you're going to ask yourself, is the result larger than 9? If yes, you're going to leave the digits in the 1 position place and carry the digit that's in the tens place over to the tens column. And I'll show you visually over here in just a moment. Then you're going to add the tens column. Again, ask yourself, is the result larger than 9? If yes, leave the digit that's in the ones position, carry the other digit to the next column. In this case, the next column from the tens is going to be in the 100s column. Next, you're going to add the hundreds column. If the result is larger, again, you're going to carry and then add the 1000 column. So let's see this in action with our example of 534 plus 178. The ones column, I'm going to add 4 plus 8 is 12. Is it larger than 9? Yes. So I leave the 2 in the ones position and I carry the 1. Okay, so this is just my little side thing, my side activity, so you can see exactly what I'm adding up. Now I'm going to add the tens column. I have a 1, 3, and a 7. 1, 3, 7. Well, 1 plus 3 plus 7 is 11. Again, I'm going to leave the 1 in the tens position. Right? That's that 1 right there. And I'm going to carry the 1 to the hundreds position because that's over 9. That's more than 9. Now I add the hundreds column. 1 plus 5 plus 1 is 7. Is the result larger than 9? No, so I'm just going to take this 7 and put it in the hundreds column. So my final result is going to be 712. Now there's some very interesting things about addition. We have some properties that we can use. One is the additive entity, the addition property of 0. So if we let A represent any number, then it is always true that A plus 0 will be the result of A. Likewise, 0 plus A will result in A. So A plus 0 equals A. So adding 0 doesn't change the number in any way. It leaves it unchanged. Commutative property of addition. If we say A and B are any two real numbers, then it is always true that A plus B will equal B plus A, which means the order doesn't matter, which is really great, because sometimes if we change the numbers around, it's a little bit easier to add them up. So knowing that we have this rule that we can apply makes things a lot easier down the line. Then we have the associative property of addition. If we let A, B, and C represent any three numbers, and we first add A and B, and then add C, it's going to be the same thing as adding B and C first, and then adding A. The result will be true. For example, if I say A equals 1 and B equals 2, and I add those up first, and then I add 3, that should equal the same thing as 1 plus 2 plus 3. So let's see if this is true. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 3 equals 6. Over here on this side, 2 plus 3 equals 5. 5 plus 1 equals 6. Yes, indeed, 6 does equal 6. If you've ever seen a multiplication table, we can also build a similar table to work with addition. And this might be helpful if you're just learning addition of numbers. So what you want to do is on their top row, you're going to write the numbers 0 through 9, 0 through 5, 0 through 10, however many you want. And then in your rows, you're going to do the same thing. Off to the side, you're going to write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And here's how you would fill in the green portion of the table. So all this portion of the table, the body of the table, here's how you would fill it in. 0 plus 0 results in 0. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 will result in 0. Next, now we look at 1 plus 0 equals 1. The next step would be 2 plus 0 equals 2. 3 plus 0 equals 3. 4 plus 0 equals 4, and so on until you finish up the first line. Now here's the next line of the table. So the next line of the table, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 plus 0, that equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 2 equals 3, and so on and so forth. So once you fill in this whole entire table, you can reference it again, which is really great. So if I was to, and I'm just going to erase all my markings here, and make sure that I've erased it nice and clean for you. So now when you go back to reference this table, you can quickly see that if I want to know what 3 plus 2 is, here's my 3, here's my 2, and where they meet is 5, so my answer is 5. Now you might not need this with smaller numbers, but perhaps you need it with larger numbers, that it's something that you reference all the time. Likewise, with 8 plus 5 is going to be 13. Likewise, if I did 5 plus 8, that is also 13. So you can see that associative rule does work even visually in a table. The other thing we can do is we can start working with a little bit of algebra. For example, if I wanted to know what two numbers add to 5, an unknown plus 3 equals 5. Well, I can go back up to my table. Erase everything I've done. And I know my unknown correlates with 3. I know the result is 5. I can go to see what number creates it, which is 2. So my unknown is 2. Likewise, which I know 8 plus something equals 13. Well, 8, here's my result of 13. I can follow the path back to 5. What about 9? And I want to get to 17. What number do I add to 9 to get to 17? Is 8. So it's nice to start off with algebra this way so you can quickly go see. Later on, we're going to learn processes to be able to solve those equations using these properties that we're just now getting familiar with. The commutative property, the associative property, the addition property of 0. Perimeter. Let's start talking a little bit about geometry. Geometry is just working with shapes. It's math that deals with shapes. So the perimeter is a very special word, and all it means is that it's the distance. If I was to walk around the edge of a shape, that would be the distance that I would go. So for example, if I start at this very corner of my square and I walk the whole entire distance around the whole entire outside, that would be my perimeter, the distance I walk around the outside of a shape. For a square, the distance is the length of the side plus the length of the side plus the length of the side plus the length of the side. So I have the length of the side, that's one side, the length of the other side, the length of the next side, and the length of the final side. So I just add those lengths up. With a square, each length is the same length. So for example, if my length of this square is 15 inches, then it would be 15 inches plus 15 inches plus the 15 inches for the top part plus the 15 inches for the left side of the square. So my perimeter would be a total of 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15, which is 60. Now with inches, you do want to always use your unit because 60 feet is not the same as 60 inches, so you always do want to include your units. With inches, you can either spell out the word, or you can use INS, or you can do the double tick marks. All of those are valid ways of saying inches. Let's see another example. A rectangle. Now a rectangle, its length is generally not the same length as the width. So we call one side the length, one side the width. But I'm still going to walk around the whole entire outside to get to my perimeter. So I'm just going to add them up. So I have my length of 37 feet and my width of 24 feet. So I say 24, and I'm going to start at this little corner right down here and walk up, then across the top, then down the left-hand side, and then across the bottom. So 24 plus 37 plus 24 plus 37 will result in 122 feet. Now you can write out feet, F-E-E-T, or just FT is just fine. And we actually have a 1 tick mark, but I suggest at least doing FT so we know for sure that you put your units on your measurements. And the last thing is a polygon. So the first shape was a square, the second shape was a rectangle, the next is a polygon. The polygon is nothing more special than a rectangle. I'm just going to walk around the outside for my perimeter. So I just add up every length of the side. So I'm going to start here at this corner. I'm going to add 23 plus 36 plus 24 plus 12 plus 24. So my perimeter is 119. In this case, my dimensions were yards, so it's going to be 119 yards. So that's it for this video. Until next lesson, be seeing you.